a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Hey, this is Thomas King, CEO and owner of Florida Firearms Academy. I'm filling in today for Brandon Rhymes. Brandon's out saving all the beluga whales today. He's not going to be in, but we have Alex BlackBelt Lima in today. And one of our special guests is Milly Athanason, and she's with Athanason Law. We're going to go over today. If you've not listened to the Consumer Quarterback before, Brandon has over 40 different show partners on here, and he goes over 80 different categories to get to you a street mindset to help you save some money on that and everything. And we also had with Alex BlackBelt Lehman. How you doing today, buddy?
How's it going, my man? Always good to be here. Always good to see you, my friend.
Absolutely great to see you. What do we have for any real estate listings if anyone's out there looking for some amazing properties?
It's funny you ask. We do happen to have properties available to you from the Platinum MVP team over at Keller Williams. One of the properties we would like to showcase for you from Brandon and Lindsay's awesome team, the Platinum MVP team. Let's go with 5642 Egrets Place. This is one of Brandon's properties. He loves it. He says this one all the time. He's like infatuated with this one. 5642 Egrets Place in Newport Richey, Florida. You got a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath, just under 3,000 square feet. I mean, this is a nice size home. It's sitting on just about a quarter acre. It's got a main entrance, has a balcony. You got heated pools with a waterfall. You know, that's where I'd be spending most of my time. Elevator access to the garage, 2 sets of sliders. I mean, the laundry. I mean, look at this place, that bathtub, everything. You got to see the pictures on PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Look at that pool with the waterfall, man.
I didn't see the elevator.
That is so peaceful. Well, it's hidden. It's like Batman. You got to you have to
Secret
activate.
Batman,
you got to lift up
the
little statue's head to push the button for the elevator.
Nice.
Batman 66. There you go.
I love that waterfall.
Oh, isn't it beautiful? I mean, this home is absolutely gorgeous. Pavers, the kitchen, everything. That bathtub. I mean, I'm telling you, this is a little paradise right here. So 5642 Egrets Place, Newport Richey, Florida, available to you from the Platinum MVP team over at Keller Williams. Another property we'd like to showcase for you. Let's take it over to Dunellen, Florida. 21480 Southwest Marine Boulevard in Dunellen, Florida. Dunellen's just fun to say. I love it. 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Home boasts a serene location. It's nestled in the heart of Rainbow Lake Estates. It's sitting on a pretty decent sized property. You get a lot of land here. Your neighbors aren't too close to you. You get a recently installed beautiful vinyl plank flooring. The floors are done right, completely updated. Looks beautiful. Little kitchen with a little kind of bar stool countertop to it. It's absolutely gorgeous. You can see all the pictures online at PlatinumCoastalElite.com, ladies and gentlemen. So 21480 Southwest Marine Boulevard in Dunellen, Florida. And as always, you can see all the properties at PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
And if you mention Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, do they get BOGOs on house purchases or no?
Man, we should get a punch card or something going.
Yeah, we should. Yeah. Buy one house, get one free.
Buy one house, get one free. You buy 10, we'll give you a fruit basket or something. There you go.
Hey, our special guest today is Milly. Milly, how you doing today?
I am wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for being on the show. And your law firm, where are you located at?
So we have actually 3 offices. We have the main one is in Holiday, Florida on US 19. Then we have one in Spring Hill on Deltona Boulevard. And then one in Orlando in the Lake Mary area.
Wow. Is that all family that run these, or you have just other attorneys?
Yeah, it is a small family law firm. When I say family law, we do more than practice family law, but we have family members working with us.
Wow,
yeah.
That's fantastic. Awesome. And today you're going to go over something about PIP law.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about the PIP statute because I get a lot of questions about it because it's confusing. What PIP stands for is personal injury protection, which is also called no-fault coverage, and it's one of the required coverages in Florida. So when you go to purchase your automobile insurance, even if you just wanted the minimum insurance, PIP is a component of that minimum insurance as well as property damage coverage. And what PIP does is it pays 80% of your medical bills and 60% of your lost wages, regardless of whose fault it is in an automobile accident. So, in other words, if you're driving your car and you hit a pole, you have an accident, you slipped or whatever, even though, there's no one else at fault and that potentially you could be at fault, you would contact your insurance carrier and then they would set up a PIP claim for you, and your medical bills would be paid through your insurance or PIP. And a lot of people ask, well, is that going to make my insurance go up if I use PIP? Well, you're required to use PIP. Even if somebody else is at fault for the accident, you still have to go through you still have to go through your own PIP carrier. So that's important. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't go after the other person's insurance for your permanent injuries, but the first $10,000 of your medical bill has to be billed through your PIP carrier, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happens. And you have to go to the doctor, seek emergency medical treatment within 14 days of the accident. If you fail to get any evaluation or treatment within the first 14 days, the insurance company is going to assume that you're not that injured from the accident.
Right, you're faking it.
Yeah, exactly. That you're not going to, and then you're not going to be extended PIP benefits. Also, when you go to the doctor, you have to make sure that you're complaining of something, because if not, if they deem that it's a non-emergency medical situation, then they're only going to pay $2,500 in PIP benefits as opposed to $10,000. So the rule of thumb is you want to go to the doctor within 14 days. Even if you're unsure but you think something may be wrong, go get checked out to preserve your rights.
Is it best to go right away to the hospital or doctor?
Well, I don't know that you necessarily need to go to the hospital. You can go to the hospital, but hospital visits are very expensive. And understand that even if you have health insurance, PIP is primary in the state of Florida. So the bill has to be submitted to your PIP carrier. And I can tell you that hospital bills tend to be very expensive. You can get emergency medical care at a walk-in clinic, and which they're usually, open pretty long hours as well. And that would also count as emergency medical treatment. You can go to your family physician or whoever you want to go to get the emergency medical care. Now, if you're carted off in the ambulance and you go with the ambulance, they are going to take you to the hospital. And sometimes you have to do that because the injuries are pretty severe. And particularly if there's head trauma, you want to go to the hospital and get that checked out, or if you believe there's broken bones or something that's going to require extensive evaluation immediately.
For people that don't know, the no fault, can you explain that? Is that what that actually is, that you have to go through your PIP then? Or if it was someone that actually really hit you and it was completely their fault, should I go to the hospital, or are they going to cover it for my bill?
Yes. So what happens is, I told you that PIP pays 80% of your medical bills and 60% of your lost wages. Under the law, if you meet the threshold and you have a permanent injury, which a doctor would certify. So what happens is you go to the doctor and they treat you and they get you as good as you can get. And when you get to that point, that's called maximum medical improvement. And any residual is called a permanent injury. So if you are permanently injured, you can then go after the other person's insurance. Okay? Now, you don't have to pay your PIP carrier back because you're required under the law to use them. So they don't make you pay back your PIP carrier, right?
Okay, right.
But then if you're permanently injured, then you can go after the other person's coverage. Now, bodily injury liability, which would be the other person's coverage, is not a required coverage in the state of Florida. So if you get hit by somebody that doesn't have bodily injury liability coverage, then you can't make that recovery from their insurance.
So you're SOL.
You could be SOL, but now if you have uninsured motorist coverage on your policy, what that insures you for is that in case somebody hits you that doesn't have bodily injury liability, or they don't have enough coverage, then you have uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage, and that will pick up the other, what is lacking from the other side's coverage. So coverage is a good coverage to have, because in Florida you never know who's going to hit you. You may get hit by the Coca-Cola or the Publix truck, which has lots of coverage, or you can get hit by somebody
doesn't even have a license.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have a license, or they only paid for insurance for 1 month just to get their registration and then let it lapse. So you never know. So you really do have to drive defensively in the state of Florida.
We got about 2 minutes. What about for this segment? What about the people that own businesses like an umbrella? What do they need to do to make sure they're not going to lose everything?
Yeah, so an umbrella policy that means you already have full coverage. You've got uninsured motorists on your policy, but you want an extra layer of protection. You get an umbrella policy, and umbrellas are usually like $1 million, $2 million, and so forth. And it covers not only vehicles, but it covers land that you have or business properties that you have. So if somebody slips on the premises or causes damage on your property or what have you, the umbrella is going to cover you in case that person gets injured on your property and files a claim, or injured through one of your vehicles. It's a good coverage to have. It's considered excess, or if you will, supplemental type coverage, because it goes over and above what your bodily injury liability and coverage would pay. So that's what an umbrella is. And many individuals as well as business owners possess umbrella policies. So that's something we always look for.
Right, because you want to make sure you're covered and they can't just go ahead and take everything. Because every time someone finds out you own a business and you hit someone, the other side is saying, oh, we could go get some stuff, right?
Absolutely. And a lot of times with businesses, you have a commercial liability policy. If you have like company vehicles, you're going to buy like a commercial vehicle policy, which usually has higher limit than what individual policies have. Not always, but a lot of times they do. Because you could have a fleet of vehicles. You want to make sure that each of the vehicles that you have in your fleet are covered, right?
Right.
And then you want to make sure that all of the drivers that are going to be utilizing these vehicles are also listed on the policy.
Just so you're covered. We're listening with Milly Athanason with Athanason Law. We're going to be right back after these messages. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Yeah, don't go anywhere, guys. www.consumerqb.com. More with Milly when we come back.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show.
Thank you. Thanks for staying around and listening to the show and sticking around. So I'm Thomas King, CEO and owner of Florida Firearms Academy. I have Alex BlackBelt Lima here with me today, and I also have Milly Athanason Law with Athanason Law. And we're going to go over a couple things. But first, one of our sponsors, Brio Tuscan Grill. If you've not been over there, it's right by the International Mall. Great food, great time, great ambiance. We're over there every Thursday, 6 p.m. Stop by over there. You're going to see Alex. He's going to tell you all his cool stories about what's the best story you tell everyone.
I mean, it depends, man. I got a lot of stories. I might karate chop some boards for you guys if you want.
That would, you know what? We could set that up outside.
Dude, I've done it. I'll break some
flaming.
Oh, dude, I used to kick baseball bats and everything.
If you do it, I'll give you some. I'll buy you some tacos over there.
Yes, I'll do it.
Cool. We're in. All right. So we were talking with Milly with Athanason Law about PIP. Milly, can you first? Well, for everyone out there that's listening right now, can you take out your phones if you're not driving and write down this number for your attorney on who you're going to call if you need any kind of law for family law? Milly, what's your phone number? How do they get a hold of you?
Absolutely. So my phone number is 1-833-ASK-MILLY, and that's MILLY, or it would be 727-376-9100.
I love that. Ask Milly. Did you come up with that?
Yes.
Does all your friends and family always come to you go, hey, what if this happened and what if that? Isn't that how it works?
A lot of that. It happens, and I mean, really, that's what I went to school for, right? Was
right.
To be able to do this, and after 35 years of doing this, we hope we have enough knowledge to be able to answer these questions. But I believe that's part of my responsibility is to help people, learn about the information they need to protect themselves.
Well, that's great. That's probably why Brandon wants you on the show, so you can tell everybody out there listening right now of what they need to do legally and correctly. So if you were going to give advice, if someone actually just got into an accident right now, like what would be some of the best advice you could give? Like, do you take pictures of the car yourself? What would you tell someone?
Yes, absolutely. So, you're going to call the police and get a police report. If you don't or can't get a police report, or don't want to get a police report, you want to definitely make sure that you take photographs of the damage, of any skid marks on the roadside or broken glass or what have you. You want to take pictures of any damage inside the car, like if the windshield broke or the seats got broken or something like that. You want to make sure you take pictures not only of your vehicle but of the other person's vehicle too, to show that the damage matches up. So I think that's really important. A lot of people remember to take pictures of their own vehicle but don't snap pictures of others. And then if you have any bruises, scratches, cuts, what have you on your body, please make sure that you take pictures of that, because as you know, bruises and cuts heal. And if we're looking 6 months down the road and I'm working with the insurance company, I need to be able to show what happened to this individual. So if there's any pictures of that nature, certainly take them. When you come to see me, I'm going to take them if you haven't already taken pictures of yourself. So we do that. I mean, I've gone to the hospital to take pictures of people before.
Right.
I mean, whatever has to be done to preserve evidence, we're going to do, because that's in the best interest of our client. So yes, do that. You definitely need to call me right away, and then we can walk you through what the next steps are. You definitely want to make sure you see a physician within the first 14 days. You don't want to forget to do that.
Right. If you got in an accident, you had some really cool, valuable things in your car, and you're getting towed off in the ambulance, what do you do? Do you say, "Hey, I have valuables," or what are you supposed to do at that point?
If you're going to be taken away in an ambulance, you may want to call somebody if you're able to call somebody like a friend or a loved one or whoever to come to the scene to remove those valuables, because if the car is getting towed, I mean, I don't want to accuse any people of taking things, because there's a lot of honest people out there too, but just to protect yourself, to make sure that, somebody's looking after your interest and to get those things out of the vehicle.
Right, because they could just magically disappear. And how long does, if after, let's just say it's a fender bang and bang, someone hurt their neck, nothing really big, does those usually settle, or you have to go fight this for 6 months, or?
Well, typically the claims take about 4 to 6 months, because what happens is the doctor has to treat you to try to get you as good as they can get you in order to be able to determine what is permanent and what has been resolved. So, just the medical treatment alone usually takes between 3 and 6 months. Now, if somebody is going to require surgical intervention, it may take longer. But to answer your question, do most cases settle? I would say from a statistical standpoint, yes, the majority of them do settle. But, we do our own litigation here, so I do have to file lawsuits on several cases, because if we feel that the insurance company is trying to screw our client over, we're going to file a lawsuit. It's that simple. I mean, sometimes you just need to, because insurance companies will try to mess with you. They're hoping that you're desperate for the money and you're going to just take whatever, right? And so I tell my clients, please don't do that. If we think that we can get you significantly more than what the insurance company, what they claim their top dollar is, then we'll go ahead and file suit.
So if I just got in an accident, it's not looking good for me, I have injuries, would I call you first, my insurance first, or my loved one first?
Oh, boy. Well, I mean, obviously your loved ones are worried about you. I'm a big family. I'm very family oriented. So
right, family law.
Yeah, well, and families first. I mean, I take care of families. I don't just take care of the injured person. We work with the family members as well. And so, yes, you want to let your family know, yes, call me as soon as you can would be my answer. Or if you're getting carted off in the ambulance and you called your family, tell your family to call me. I'll meet you wherever you need to. If I have to go to the hospital or to the scene of the accident or what have you. Again, in order to preserve evidence, we're going to do that.
That's service first, working for the customer to make sure they are taken well aware care of. The PIP, you said 80-60. The 60 is from your employer paying you. How long does that 60% they're paying you last? Is that a month, a week?
Well, it's up to the limit of $10,000. So
$10,000.
Yeah, because that's what PIP is. So it's only going to pay until the $10,000 runs out, and then any additional lost wages, I either have to get from the other side's insurance or from your insurance if it's an uninsured or underinsured motorist claim. So, you do get reimbursed if there's coverage to be reimbursed, but it may not necessarily be right away. It may be down the road if I have to do it through the bodily injury carrier.
Absolutely. And you know what? It is Memorial Day weekend coming up. So when you're listening to Millie, she's telling you to stay safe on the road. Don't get in an accident. She doesn't want to hear your phone call this week. And if you do happen to have someone hit you, please give her a call. And you can reach her again at where?
727-376-9100 or 1-833 Ask Milly, Milly.
Is there a website they can go to?
Absolutely. That's AthanasonLaw.com.
And
that's
go ahead.
Go ahead. It's ATHANASON law.com.
Did you have anything, Alex?
Millie, just any final thoughts? Anything you want to let our listeners know? We got about 30 seconds left. Any words of wisdom for us?
Absolutely. So like you said previously, please stay safe on the roads this holiday weekend. Make sure you're wearing your seatbelt because, especially if you're going to be traveling on the highways, because that's normally a high-speed place, and we see a lot of accidents because, people are partying or they're more carefree this time of the year. So just please be careful.
Thank you, Millie. Thanks for joining the show and giving everyone so much great advice right here. I'm Thomas King. Make sure you stay tuned to the Quarterback Show, and thank you, and thanks to Alex, BlackBelt Lima.
Yeah, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening and staying with us. And just make sure if you need anything, reach out to our show hotline. You can get in touch with all of us. 727-263-3707. One more time, 727-263-3707. Don't touch that dial. ConsumerQB.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy.
Welcome back to the Brandon Rhymes Show. I'm Thomas King, filling in for Brandon. Brandon's out saving America this week, and we will hopefully see him again on the show very soon. Today, one of our special guests is Alex BlackBelt Lima.
Crowd goes crazy.
We love it. But first, before we get into that, we got a sponsor that we're going to shout out for. It is Replenish IV Solutions, vitamins, IV infusion drips, and boost your immunity. If you've never been there, check them out, give them a call, or go on their webpage. Make sure you set up an appointment with them and be sure to tell them that Brandon Rhymes sent you. Alex, what is the best advice you would give for a parent or even a kid that was just grabbed by someone trying to take them away?
Man, that's a loaded question. My go-to is make noise, bring attention to the situation. Like usually somebody that's a scumbag criminal, one of the first things they're gonna say is don't make a sound or something like that. Now forget that. Make a sound, bring attention to the situation. They've done a lot of studies. Not to get too morbid off bat, but the people that didn't fight back, didn't make noise, they were more likely the ones to end up as like casualties and stuff. Like if you were abducted and stuff.
They submitted.
And
you're done.
My thing is like it's just my mentality and the way I kind of live my life, and I just always should see it as like, listen, man, if you're gonna go out swinging.
Absolutely. Like go for the vitals. Anything, the eyes, throat, foot, whatever. Bite. You got claws. God gave you all these weapons that you can use?
So one of the things I teach when I teach a self-defense class, if we're going to get into that, definitely, you want to hit the vitals and stuff like that, right? But just like shooting, how much training do you have with your precision of when you throw a strike, hitting those vital areas, right? Biting, I say use that as a last resort because you never know what kind of disease or something has, right? So you bite
Good
somebody and they're, it's I don't want to say it's a homeless person, but it's somebody who's on the edge and they got hepatitis or whatever, and now the first thing you got their blood in your mouth. Well, guess what? You just transferred that communicable disease to yourself.
True.
And now you have to, granted, you may be alive or away from that one situation, but there's other things you can do with the proper training. That like biting is like a last resort. Keep your distance. Make sure we got our hands up. We're fighting correctly. Heads on the swivel. Utilizing what I call the 5 ranges in a fight, and then your firearm or your knife if you have to. So biting somebody is truly should be like a last resort scenario type thing in my opinion.
Right. So most people today, like I always give advice on this, but let's say a lady she's 65. Someone comes up from behind her, stronger man, 6 foot. She's only 5 foot. What kind of advice do you give her?
Well, it depends on the scenario that we're in, right? Like, for my first thing when it comes to self-defense is always situational awareness. So what type of place was this? And I know this is an example in the scenario we're playing through, but my first thought is like, well, what kind of place was this lady in that like she wasn't paying attention and she didn't see somebody that or feel? We don't even have to see. You develop like you can feel the heat, like you feel something, like someone's behind. I mean, how many times you walk and you just kind of like
intuition?
Yeah, you turn around, look behind you, and you're like, man, there's somebody there. Just something. So my first thing is always situational awareness. As far as, the lady, I mean, there's a lot of variables. Was she an athlete in the past before she reached 65 years old? She's going to have a better chance in a fight than the person that's never, ever done a push-up in their life, But as far as like actual fighting techniques and tactics, I'm a big proponent of having, a force multiplier on you.
Right?
Force multiplier, baby.
Yep.
Doesn't necessarily have to be a firearm.
Right.
I'm with it.
It could be a pen.
Sure, it could be one of those tactical pens. It could be your pen, your keys. Absolutely. It could be your ring. You got a nice ring on your finger. You take a swing at somebody, even if you don't got a nice punch, you'll scratch them. Small joint manipulation, and that's when like judo and jiu-jitsu and stuff comes into play. You'd be surprised. It does not take much force, minimal force, in order to. You may not get the break, but you'll cause a reaction. And you'll get them to let go
long enough for you to get away.
Definitely.
And you hit the nail on the head right there. Situational awareness. And that's where most people fail. They get distracted. They're on their phone. They're thinking about what they're going to cook for dinner. Here's the thing. If you're allowing people, and they're looking for that. They're looking for that person on the phone or what they're doing, or they're going to distract you. They're going to come up and go, oh, ma'am, is that your money on the ground? And when you look down, someone from behind's coming up, grabbing you. Or, oh, ma'am, do you know what time it is? Boom, now you're looking at something else. They got you. Make sure you stay that distance and always have that key or something in your hand, right?
Something.
Do whatever you can to stay away from that. If you can, go shopping at times where it's lit up. If you possibly can and your only time to go shopping at night, well, then make sure you go with a friend, or you're looking at your situational awareness.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the things I always lead to. I remember very vividly, like the first, like my own seminar that I taught about self-defense. I kind of opened with this speech about, just the mindset, because I've not only for my own knowledge, that I study and I love this stuff like a science of studying like the psyche of like someone that would attack you, but also I did some private security work as well. And when I did that, I had to watch countless videos and case studies of like people that attack, the mentality, what do they look like, what do they don't look like, warning signs, red flags, and all this stuff. And the thing I always tell people is that there's two main things that like a scumbag criminal is looking for if they're gonna try to take something from you or do something to you. One is the awareness, the person that is least paying attention, and then two is the person that least likely looks like they're gonna put up a fight.
Right, the easiest target.
The easiest target, the one that they, at least in their mind, is an easy target. And that's why it's so important to fight back and make noise, because you need to let them know that they made a mistake.
Yes.
You are not an easy target. They picked on you. They went at you because they thought you were going to be someone that they could just run through. So when you start putting up a fight, you start tagging them a little bit, you start making noise, they get overwhelmed. And a lot of times they will take off running. There was that video not that long ago, and I know there's been countless ones of these, of the young girl in the like apartment complex gym that was attacked. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yes,
So
not that long ago.
She was by herself in the gym. So first off, situational awareness. Bless her, her heart was in the right place, right? She thought a guy was just like trying to get in the gym after hours and he didn't have his key card or whatever, right? Like they do in the apartment complexes. So she was thinking nothing of it. She finished up her little set, went to the door, opened up, and it's just her and him in the gym. And the video, check it out, it's her running around the gym like trying to fight this guy off. Now that girl was not a trained fighter, but she put up a heck of a fight. And what saved her in that scenario was, one, that she put up a heck of a fight, and then two, that she was athletic.
And she had
so
the
she
feeling.
fought. But I'm telling you, I've watched that video numerous times. With some training, she could have ended that threat a lot sooner.
Yep.
I'm not saying kill him but she could have put that guy out a lot sooner.
Smacked him on there.
You know,
one of the big things too, if you see someone walking towards you or behind you, make sure you put that eye contact on. Look them directly in the
100%.
eye. Now they're saying, oh, now they can identify me if for some reason they got away. I don't want to hit that target. They want to go after the easiest target. Yeah. And that's the scary thing. Because most people, when I go out, even at the mall, in your mall, you're a little bit safer. I'll sit there and I'll watch people on their phone bumping into people.
It's ridiculous.
They're not even looking where they're going, let alone seeing if there's a threat out there.
Yeah, dude. So I have one of those faces, and it's just the way I've always been since I was a little kid. Like, my face doesn't lie; it lets you know what I'm thinking. So, like, my wife will be with me, and like all the time, like something like that will happen, and somebody will walk by or like almost bump into me, and I'm always like, you're making this face like, are you serious, dude? Like, pay attention, bro.
Yes.
I can't. People are so and not overall. There's some really great people. There's great people in this room right now, but there is a lot of people, the majority of the population, that are so self-centered and believe that the universe revolves around them.
And nothing's gonna happen to them.
Nothing at all. Like the person that cuts you off in traffic, I'm always like, oh, he's cool. He must be important. He's got a big meeting to go to. It's like, come on, man. You could have killed somebody just now.
Sure enough. When I get in my car, because of movies, I always have to like look in the back seat, make sure I'm all good. I don't want to be driving down the road and I see something pop up in my rearview mirror, right? So that's one of the big things. Even in a Publix parking lot, let's just say, or Target or something, people just get right in their car and they are immediately on their phone. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for you to be distracted so they can come. They're not in your car, but they're coming over to your car. And they're going to mark your car or hit you. If you come to your car, take a look around your car. Because people will mark it to say, yeah, that's the target. That's the one you're going after. Even if you have kids, so you're busy putting your bags away, your groceries, you're not looking at where your kid's at.
Yeah.
That's where your easy target is.
Yeah, also don't park just like to park, especially like, I'm going to give an example. And I'm not saying that there's not strong women or women that can't fight and defend themselves, but I'm just saying realistically, an attacker is going to go for a small, what he perceives to be at least a smaller like female that he can abduct or do whatever to, right? Don't park just to park because you're late to your movie or you want to hurry up and get to the restaurant. Park in a well-lit area. Make sure you're in a spot where you can be seen and you can see things and you're not just hidden behind a bush somewhere. Like, so much of violence overall and so much just nastiness in the world, period, I'll say, is preventable and avoidable. It's so preventable and avoidable.
Easy enough. You just got to be aware.
It is.
And like you're parking, what you're talking about, these people are looking, they're waiting for someone to park there. They're like, that's the spot. That's where I'm going to hit them. Right now, this is pretty big, but it's coming more to Tampa, but it's really big out west. They don't even care anymore. They're coming with 4 or 5 people, and then once you get out of a dinner or a restaurant, you and your wife or 2 other people. They're just coming right up to you, daytime or not, because you're not paying attention, and they're putting a gun to your face. Like, give me your keys, your gun, your wallet, whatever you got. I'm gonna walk away, and then they're gonna go to the next restaurant and do it over there. It's because you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
If you're paying attention, if you got that eye contact, if you look like you're ready to fight for what you're gonna do, they're not gonna really hit you.
It's a deterrent. They're less likely to mess with you.
And that's like kind of like having a alarm or cameras on your home. When a bad guy sees that, they're like, that's just a deterrent. I could get through that, but that's more of a hassle. I don't want to be seen. I'm going to go to the next house. And that's how you have to present yourself. Even square yourself up.
Yeah.
They don't go after people that actually, this is a statistic that they took in prison, that they don't go after the people that look well put together. Yeah. Because they know they probably took some training or have some fighting or they do work out, and I don't want to go up against that person that's going to be a hard target for me.
And that hits on another topic. Get yourself some training. Get yourself some training. There was another study, and I read all these studies all the time. That this is proven, okay? And I've said this before on the show. Men specifically, okay, we'll lead off with the men because I talked about the ladies a second ago, are 400% or 400 times less effective in a fight than they actually believe they are.
Wow.
400 times
that is insane.
Less effective in a fight than they believe they are. The guy that's like, bro, you don't know, I get mad, I see red.
Yeah,
you
right.
can listen. You can be mad. I've had guys stand in front of me. You can be mad as you want to be and still get knocked out.
Sure,
You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't. You can be mad and scream and be as tough as you want to be and have as much muscle as you want and still get choked unconscious.
That's absolutely right.
400 times less effective in a fight. They think just because they grew up a certain way or whatever that's enough. It's not enough.
It's not enough. We're gonna have more with Alex BlackBelt Lima right after these messages. So make sure you don't go away. Thanks for sticking around. Listen to the Brandon Rhymes Consumer Quarterback Show. I have Alex BlackBelt Lima in the house. I'm Thomas King filling in for Brandon Rhymes. I am the CEO and owner of Florida Firearms Academy. If you've not been to Florida Firearms Academy, please go to ffatampa.com. We are just rated #1 store, range, and academy. We have over 20 different instructors. We do over 40 different types of classes. We take you from beginner shooting to a Grandmaster, FFA Grandmaster shooting, all different types of shooting classes, from competition sport to home defense. We have kids shooting teams, lady shooting teams, whatever you're looking for, we're right there. Reach out to 813-221-FIRE and get with our FFA team immediately. And Alex, didn't we have some super cool house that we were selling today?
One thing that you failed to mention too is that they'll find me in those classes.
Oh yeah,
I'm in there. I'm shooting and running with you guys.
Is there video of you? It's not.
We got to make another one. We haven't done it in a while.
It's not real unless there's a video.
That's it. It
So
didn't happen.
I don't know if it's
well,
happening
Facebook will just take it down anyways.
Yeah, they will. That's what I just got banned for.
Exactly. Real quick, let's highlight some of the properties available to you from the Platinum MVP team over at Keller Williams, Brandon and Lindsay's awesome superstar real estate team here in the Bay Area. Let's go ahead and showcase 18522 Gulf Boulevard, Unit F in beautiful Indian Shores, Florida. We got a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, just under 2,000 square feet, beachfront condo in Indian Shores. You got private 2-car parking, upgraded kitchen. It's got low HOA fees. You can rent this property. Brandon loves this one. He always talks about this one. And as he always says, you can hang out here on the beach, own your own slice of paradise here in the sugar sand beaches and dolphin-filled waters of the Bay Area here. That's 18522 Gulf Boulevard, Unit F in Indian Shores, Florida. Make sure you check that one out at platinummvpteam.com. Then we also have 5121 40th Avenue in St. Pete, Florida. 5121 40th Avenue North in St. Petersburg, Florida. I love this one. I like the little old school look to this one, and it's been really well updated and done. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, just over 2,000 square feet, 2,062 square feet. The lot size, you're sitting on about a 1/4 acre. You're surrounded by oak trees, which is beautiful if that's your thing, right? Spacious living room. You got the porch that wraps around. You got the enclosed back patio area. It's newly been refinished. I mean, this is a nice little property here in 5121 40th Avenue North, St. Pete, Florida. And you can see all the properties available to you from the Platinum MVP team over at Keller Williams at platinumcoastalelite.com. That's platinumcoastalelite.com.
You know what? I was just banned for 1 year for sharing a post for the 5K Veterans Run that I'm sponsoring from Facebook. I don't even understand, and I even said why, and they won't tell you.
They don't respond. They don't reply. Yeah, I'm in band for a couple of things. They told me a while ago that I was. They're like, hey, we want to notify you. They emailed me and everything, sent me a whole bunch of documents to fill out, and they're like, you're available to be monetized for your social media content. And I go, that's awesome. And then they're like, but you got to take down this video. And it's literally me, a video at Florida Firearms using one of the beautiful machines that you guys have there. Because it's a tool, guys. That's all it really is. It's a tool, man. It's a rental. I'm not shooting a bazooka.
Right.
Yeah, it was a matter of fact, it was a Strybog. Shout out to Strybog. It was a decent gun.
Yeah.
And I'm just shooting it in the range, man. And they want me to take the video down, and I'm like, I refuse to do it. So
you're a horrible
I'm
American.
a horrible person, but I'm standing up for my rights. I'm standing up for Florida Firearms and my Second Amendment rights, and I'm not taking it down.
You can go on there and probably find porn and whatever and terrorist advertising.
Underage
on
girls
Facebook
dancing in bikinis.
Yeah,
but I can't shoot a gun at the range.
And
it's sickening.
And I can't promote the VFW. That's just the craziest thing.
It's nuts.
That's what the world's coming to. I can't even go to a certain store to go buy paper towels. They won't allow me to. And
because of being a gun
because
range.
I'm a gun store owner and academy, and I help whoever.
Transactions as well. No, you can't use certain
Can't
machines.
do transactions.
You can't take certain
can't use
transactions.
banks. And there's
disgusting.
200 businesses that I can't deal with or do business with because I own a gun range, and that's what's coming next. You're going to be looking at, hey, you know what? You're Jewish or you're Catholic or Christian. Oh no, you can't do business here.
That's it.
Sorry. So
You actually use male and
going
female
down.
pronouns. You know, you use your proper pronouns. They won't do business with you.
It's all a scam. They all want you to like the green deal. They want you to use electric cars.
Yeah.
But you know what? For almost probably like 80 years now, people have come up with cars that run off of zero energy or water, and these
Or
people have all
biodiesel.
been killed.
Yeah.
All been murdered or killed or poisoned. And you can look up how many people have invented this. Even with Tesla, too. He came up with zero energy that he could pull from the air. And when he died, all FBI raided it and took all his information. So, you're losing probably a $20 trillion industry. If there's no gas, no oil, no electric, you can get it all for free, then no one's really getting it. But that technology exists.
If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, right?
If they really want to protect you from global warming this time, but why don't they really protect you from pills that all these doctors push on you, or all the poison that it's in food? You know how much poison's in food right now?
So I saw a really insane study, and I need to dive deeper into it before I start quoting actual numbers. But whoever ran this study, they said and so this is every single case, right? Every single one. Every single like these are people that passed away and they did autopsies and stuff afterwards, and they checked them. Every single male had plastic particles, microplastics in their testicles.
Oh, yeah.
So they're saying that this contributes to the decline in people having children and stuff and everything. I think about this I'm not sitting around driving thinking about it all day, not testicles specifically, right? But I'm thinking, I have so many friends, and I'm like, how many people do you know that are like really good people trying to have kids, they can't have kids?
Right.
The amount of people that are unable to have children, it's a staggering number.
Because there's so many chemicals.
There's something that has happened to the human body in X amount of years that has declined people's ability to procreate.
And that's probably why we're having all these kids going crazy, depressed, mass
and then
shootings.
If they are born, what side effects are they having from all the stuff that's passed down?
We're just all guinea pigs to people.
We're a social experiment.
That's all we are. I mean, if they wanted to do something, why don't they ban porno that kids can watch all day long? This is totally
I'm with you.
Blowing their minds
The priorities
away.
aren't in the right place.
You can watch people beheading people and these kids. Why doesn't Google take that down? Why don't they just take down all this porno crap?
Yeah, I know.
And why don't people that get caught sex trafficking, why don't they get the death penalty?
Yeah, why do we waste our time jailing them and stuff? Like,
well,
what is there to talk about? What is there to discuss and put them on trial for? Like, we know that it's
you just
them.
did
We
this
know
to
what
a
they've
kid,
done.
ruined
It's
their
like,
life.
There's nothing else to discuss in my
Why
opinion.
don't they just release the Epstein list already?
That's a big one.
That's
a big one.
It's just so many things. If you really want to know, it's all a scam.
But let's spin it around. Let's make it positive again. Let's talk firearms and fighting.
Yeah, firearms and firearms. Well, let me ask you one thing.
Yeah.
What do you think the number 2 or 3 reasons why people don't come to you and say, "Hey, man, I do need training"? Are they scared? They don't have the money. It's affordable.
Oh man, that's another loaded question. So let's break this down a little bit. There's a couple of categories. One is affordability. They don't think the affordability is there, and I do try to work with people and make things as affordable as I possibly can. But at the end of the day, they see it as like a luxury, something else to buy into. Instead of being a priority, like I see self-defense and training and camaraderie and everything that you get from the martial arts. Another one, and I would probably even say maybe this is the largest factor, is ego.
Because they don't think they need it?
From both, no, they don't want to. So let's talk about like the big strong guy that comes in. He's twice my size, and he gets, we do an intro lesson, and I choke him, and his ego can't take it. They walk out the door, right?
Okay, right.
But then there's also the person that's afraid. They're intimidated. They're too timid to come in. And I've always been a firm believer that martial arts is for everybody. Everybody. I don't care if you have a handicap.
Right.
I don't care what race you are at
age.
Age, it doesn't matter. Some of my best training partners that I've ever had. I remember I had a really good grappling partner. He was like in his mid to late 60s, And I didn't know this one day. I was like, it's a funny story real quick. One class, I was partnered up with him and was going to work doing some drills. And I said in my head, like, I'm going to take it easy on him just because he's an older guy. And he grabbed me and he started putting it on me. And I'm like, I can't take it easy on this guy. Right. Come to find out, like, he was a 20-year like judo black belt back in the day. And I was like, I love it. The last thing to go is a man's punch. An old lion is still a lion.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of it is a ego and affordability factor. And I think the affordability factor, I'll make sure that you can afford it and get some good training and have a good experience. And then ego, well, that's something you got to deal with.
Yeah. How would people get to sign up with one of your training and classes?
You just give me a call, 813-426-1588. You can always pass by. You can catch me on pretty much, Mondays and Wednesdays. I'm over at American Top Team now, helping to teach the kids class, and we got a summer camp coming up. And then, I'm always available for private lessons. And I'll even come to you. I'll bring mats and stuff to your house and work with you, man.
Summer camp.
100%.
Love it. Well, thanks for being on the show, Alex, as always.
Thank you for hosting.
Love seeing you, brother.
All right, guys. Great episode. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Always go out there, commit a random act of kindness. Check us out, www.consumerqb.com. You can see all of our experts. You can call us. You can talk to us. We are here for you. www.consumerqb.com. Catch you next time.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.